Okay, so we have the wonderful people here from Margo, Lily, who've worked together before. You guys are long-standing collaborators. Maybe can we talk a bit about why you guys enjoy working together so much? Oh, maybe they don't like working together and I've just hit a nerve.
Actually, I'm going to pass this one over to Mike, our producer. I will say this, we are in love with each other.
We have a real tendency when we're getting ready to make films to spend between 7 and 14 days running up to the film sleeping in a puppy pile together. We'll literally just sleep in a pile together, and that's really where our ideas sort of come from. It's weird, but it's our process, and it's who are you to judge our process? Really, it's our process. It's how we work.
Did you want to say something?
I'll give a bit of a more serious answer if you don't mind.
This is kind of like
I was at the Film Center in 2008 with Dane and Lindsay. They were writers, I was a producer. And Dane and I have actually never worked together in the entire time that we were there. And it was the funniest thing ever because once we all finished the Film Center, every short that I've done since then, Dane has either co-written or written. So it was one of these things that was just destined to be and had to wait until after Norman left us through the doors, and then Mike. It's just one of these things that just works, you know. And Rachel now is part of this team, unfortunately. I'm sorry. And it's, you know, when something works, it just works, and you can see it just translate on screen. So that's the serious answer, and the puppy pile as well. This really helps.
Yeah. Communal sleeping is a creative venue for, ideas. And what about Rick and Brian? Have you guys worked together before, or is this your first film collaborating?
Yeah, it's our first one. Hopefully not the last. We're trying to work on some stuff, getting some stuff developed together. But it was a total pleasure. It's funny because I actually had originally planned to start shooting this earlier, and that kind of fell through. And at the last minute, I was like, no, I really have to shoot this film this year. Watching Kent put up his lights is something that doesn't happen very often. So, and the amazing thing was like Rick was right there and on board and so supportive and just had the instincts to go with it. And so it was really, really great.
And so maybe can we talk a bit about the great ideas that we saw on the screen? How did you guys meet Kent? Were you fans of his light show, and that's how you sort of found Kent Butcher in the first place?
I was introduced to him through a friend in high school, and his mother is actually best friends with Karen. And I kind of heard about this tangentially, and it was just such a great concept for me that somebody who could possibly, be visually impaired would be so obsessed with something visual. And it's just a great dichotomy and something to play with. And the funny thing was, I didn't really expect the film to be what it was. I went to meet him and just kind of explore the subject, and then he was such a brilliant character, and then obviously his wife followed suit. So it was a really nice thing. Everything was just kind of interpollinating and kept going.
And what about you guys? I mean, that blow dryer is like the money shot, quite frankly, because you guys took this really sad story and made it so romantic and longing and sweet. And maybe can you talk about that amazing, like, $1 million scene?
Yes. Well, we just tried to humanize it. We're earnest, but we try not to be like 100% earnest. So when we're getting too earnest, we just throw in a blow dryer. Sorry. Lindsay, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Dane. Dane's going to say the blow dryer was his idea, and I'm going to say it was my idea. And that's typically how it works with us.
The truth is, it was my idea. The blow dryer's mine. The one Rachel actually wrote it. She improv'd it on scene. Somebody give me a blow dryer. One of the things that I will say that was really interesting about making this film is the first film. I know there's a few people here who have seen Long Branch, which was the first short film that we made. And it was a really, really great film to make, but we made it in the snow over 3 nights with no money, freezing our asses off with 15 locations and the TTC, and it was an absolute nightmare. And I think this film in a lot of ways is a triumph of us basically telling these guys, you get a camera and a backyard, make it work. It's good every now and then, I guess, just from that perspective, to sort of every now and then put yourself in a box and see what you can come up with. because you don't need a lot to make a great short film. You just really got to focus on story and heart and character and stuff like that. And I think, you know, the blow dryer is because we had a blow dryer. You know, also because I'm brilliant, but beyond that, it's because there was a blow dryer.
Can we talk a bit about shooting in the winter time? Because I assume that both of these were actually shot in the winter and that this wasn't green screen magic. So can you talk a bit about, I guess, the drawbacks or the unknown surprise positive side of shooting in the winter?
I'm going to fire this one over to Rick because he's the one with the cold hands.
I guess unlike the short film, they have, I guess it was sort of improv, no? Was it totally written or completely? So unlike that, we had a situation where we, pardon the pun, we went in kind of blind and kept shooting, really. And because Kent is this sort of eclectic, sort of eccentric person, he just sort of does what he does, and you're sort of victim of his circumstance because he likes to sort of go on these tangents. So when you're outside and he's in a beautiful little Santa suit and you're kind of just going, do something. And he's just like, oh, well, last year this time, you're like, oh my God, seriously, we're going to stand here with this camera. So for me, it was just a matter of just sort of being with him. So really, it was cold, but because we had no sort of like plan, we sort of just had to stick it out, you know, and then sort of excuse myself, go inside to have a quick coffee and back outside again.
Spontaneity keeps you warm. What about you guys? Drawbacks to shooting in the cold, unknown positives?
Well, yeah, the spontaneity, if I can use that word. It's, you know, Long Branch as well was in the winter, and it was a challenge. But like to have a team that can be able to be thrown in and adapt with the conditions that you have to go to, and still be able to tell the story that you were there to tell. This film was supposed to be shot the day after we actually shot it. But because of the weather being so unpredictable and changing whenever it had to, like both Mike and I were coming off of another short that was being shot the day before, trying to coordinate an entire shift to bring this production one day earlier. And, you know, thankfully the team that we have on board is just, you know, so into what we're doing that you just move everything you have to move to make it happen. And yeah, while we're here, I do have to give a shout out to Daniel Grant, if you wouldn't mind. Where is our wonderfully talented cinematographer, who's probably doing something in the woods, but that's fine. Anyway, but yeah, and that's just it. You know, you just having a team that can roll with the punches. It's unpredictable, but you can get wonderful things because of it. You know, it's not what you plan out to do, but the end result is always the best result. You know, so. Anyway, I don't know if you guys want to